is just about ready to come in. And if you look over your shoulder to the left, you can see it way in the back course. It's an unusual airplane. The roots of the aircraft go back to the 1980s when Bell Helicopter Company experimented with what is known as a tilt rotor concept to combine the performance of a helicopter with vertical or short takeoff and landing with the fixed wing speed of an airplane. Coming up, we see it right now, and I'm going to welcome a couple of guys who are part of that team. We've got Tyler Kesterson from Marine Corps Air Station New River, and we've also got our buddy, Dustin Davis. I'll get it right. And hi, Dustin. Can you hear me okay, bud?
Yeah.
That's good. And hello, Tyler.
How you doing today?
Talk about what's going by right now, Tyler.
All right, left to right, you got the Osprey coming in, full airplane transition. When it's out in the airplane mode like this right now. Should be coming around. You'll see it slowing down. As he's slowing down, he'll start converting the rotors. They'll be coming back and he'll be turning into a helicopter.
Now this is a hybrid that doesn't exist anyplace else in the world. I mean, there are other helicopters, there are other fixed-wing aircraft, but only the United States military, primarily, at least in the beginning, the Marine Corps, had an aircraft that would have the tilt rotor concept.
Yes, sir. It's a brand new technology. Obviously, it's been in the work for decades, but they finally got it mastered. It is unique, you know, because the engines, those things weigh about 9,000 pounds that are hanging out on the wings right now. So we have to have a screw mechanism pretty much. It raises that 9,000 pounds up along with the torque of the rotors going around.
So you got to work hard in the cockpit to get them to, do you rotate gears and stuff? How do you make those? If you got 18,000 pounds of rotor and engine out there, how do you make them change?
Yeah, luckily they did some hydraulics in there for us. But yeah, we have a thumb wheel switch. We have a TCL lever, which is the thrust control lever. And with our left thumb, as we start rotating back or forwards, we have a rated switch, and we can bring those up up or down at 8 degrees per second.
8 degrees per second. So right now, your pilot, who is Seth Grant, right?
That's correct.
What's his call sign?
Flesh.
I'm not asking. Okay, right now. So he has now transitioned into helicopter flight. And Tyler, I gotta say, I've tried to hover a helicopter. It's not easy. And to be able to fly like a fixed-wing pilot and a helicopter pilot has got to make a learning curve that's just outrageous.
Yeah, luckily they built some good simulators for us, so we get to practice some tests before we strap on the aircraft. But we also do 3 planes before we actually get to fly this. We do a fixed-wing single-engine helicopter and then multi-engine airplane before we're ever allowed to fly this guy right here.
So they actually put you in a TH-57 or something like that?
Yep, that's exactly what we flew. 57 out of Pensacola, Florida.
So, okay, so you're down there and landing out of Whiting Field and all of that down there in Florida where there's nobody to run into.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the TH-57's a Bell Jet Ranger. That's like standing on a beach ball, rubbing your tummy and patting your head off at the same time. The simulators help. That's some serious noise there.
Yeah, there's a lot of thrust coming out of the feet, a lot of air coming down through the fins.
Dustin, how much thrust? Tell me about the power and capabilities of this, since you know more about it than he does.
Yeah, that's right.
Because you're the crew chief.
We have 2 Rolls-Royce engines. need to, we can carry an external cargo up to about 12,500 pounds.
Now, it also will land, Tyler, on an aircraft carrier, right?
That's correct.
Now, it looks big. It looks like when space is at a premium on an aircraft carrier, having, what, 38-foot rotors and whatever goes beyond, so it's got to be over almost 80 feet wide.
Yeah,
Yes,
that was one of the design issues. Marine Corps said that this is what they wanted to do to keep its amphibious nature. It was a requirement that we were able to fund this guy up. So what we do when we get on the ship, we'll land it normally, we'll taxi it off, and we actually have the capability of pressing a single button. The computers themselves start a sequence where the rotor plates themselves will fold up, and then the engines start rolling over, and then the wing and the box itself, and the wing will start rotating itself to where it gets 90 degrees over the dribble.
Oh my gosh! So from 90 feet wide, what does it end up being? How wide is it on the deck?
It comes down from about being 83 feet wide to about 18 feet wide.
18 feet wide?
Yes, sir.
It's a transformer.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's cool. They ought to put that in the movie.
They ought to.
Now, the controls, Tyler, are way different when you're in normal flight. In a helicopter, that's the joystick, your regular control stick, is more like, in a helicopter, a cyclic stick. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, that's exactly how it works. The controls are identical to a helicopter when it's in that helicopter mode. So right now he's able to keep himself up with the thrust control lever, which works as a collective. So as you push it up, up is going to make you go up, or forward is going to make you go up, and then if you bring it back, it'll bring you down. And then the stick itself is how he's controlling his left and right, forward and aft, and then he has tail rudders that he's adjusting the tail right now.
Now, and also aboard we've got Captain Chris Hoffa Ferris and Major Adam Possum Mardicky, and Sergeant Daniel Howlington and Sergeant Frank Rush, I believe. Those guys all have important duties back there. In what all do they do? What do those guys do, Dustin? The rest of the crew?
For us as crew chiefs, we got one guy in the front help out the pilots, and then we also got the crew chief in the back that mainly controls the ramp. And his primary focus is helping unload, load cargo and personnel.
Very coordinated. Now, I got to figure out, they're out there over that fence, and I would not want to be underneath those rotors right now, Tyler.
No, those rotors are putting down a ton of air right now. When we do our external cargo operations, we actually have to have personnel go underneath the plane and hook up the external load. We have the ability to have a camera on the front that we can watch those guys hooking it up, and as we're hovering over them, you can actually see them lift up off the ground, and they'll have to have a buddy hold them down while we're hovering over.
Holy cow! So we're talking, it's a hurricane for sure, right?
Yes, sir.
You ever gotten blown away? Have you ever gotten blown away by it, Dustin?
No, luckily I mainly stay inside of it. That's my job. I'm right there inside.
As the crew chief, what do you do in the aircraft?
Basically, if I'm up front, I'm helping out the pilots, make sure all of our systems are still working good. If an emergency pops up, I help them out with stuff like that. And then if I'm in the back, I'd be manning our tail gun for loading and unloading passengers in the cargo.
So keep them busy, and I'm sure, Tyler, that you appreciate the work that the sergeants, these other guys do, because your military career actually took you right up through the ranks.
That's correct. I started out as a Huey crew chief and worked my way up to a staff sergeant, and when got in the commissioning program and went through flight school, started flying this. So I definitely know how hard these guys work, and they know the plane and everything in it. They help us out immensely. They update us in flight. They'll go through. Aircraft actually has the ability to check every system that's operating, and they'll come up in the cockpit and let us know what's happening with each individual system as we're flying.
Now, I have read and heard in the media that some of the safety, there's been a checkered safety record of the Osprey, but I guess compared to other development of other aircraft, it's as safe as any aircraft has been in development.
It is. It's actually probably the safest rotor wing aircraft we have out there right now. There's each system in the aircraft is triple redundant, which means that we have 3 hydraulic systems. If we have an issue with one hydraulic system, then it's able to isolate that bad system, and then 2 other systems will back it up. Which they also do that with the ability to rotate the engines forward and back. We have 3 systems that control that.
My goodness. So we have redundancy on top of redundancy.
Yeah, it's pretty hard for this plane to get into any mechanical issues.
Now, when it operates in the desert, now there we're seeing the transition. So he's using his thumb, pushing his thumb forward. That's what Flesh is doing right now?
Yeah, his left thumb's rotating those all by itself.
That must just be terribly hard to do.
Oh, it's really rough. Yeah.
In point of fact, though, isn't it touchy? Don't you have to be really careful with it?
Yeah, it is a rated switch, which means you can control how fast it's going to go. So full forward, it'll give you that 8 degrees per second, but you can also slow it down if you want to be a little bit more precise. One nice feature about it is if you let go of it, it will snap back to the neutral position so that the engines won't roll without us knowing that they're going down on us.
So it's got a spring return to neutral, huh?
Right, which is a very nice feature because that can get you in trouble real quick.
Now you've got an Osprey on static display over here as well, right?
That's correct. We got a display behind us, and we have Marines over there. So if you have any questions about the aircraft, we'll be there all day. We'd be happy to take you through the plane and answer any questions you have.
$350 miles per hour top speed.
Just about, yeah. It's 208 knots, and so that's about twice as fast as helicopters go. And we like to say twice as fast, twice as high, twice as long. So it can do about 900 miles on one tank of gas without us putting extra internal gas tanks in it. And it also has the ability to link up to a C-130 and aerial refuel if we need to.
Now, I would think, now a Marine KC-130 uses the probe and drogue method. They put out a hose with a big basket. Where's the probe on your MV-22?
The probe's actually on the nose there, and it's operated again within the cockpit. We have a switch that we hit, and then the probe actually extends out in front of the aircraft so that we have a good distance between us and the drogue itself.
And so the rotors aren't going to be an issue, but it's still got to be pretty challenging for you to do it.
Yeah, it's pretty touchy when you're doing the aerial refueling, and that's probably about the most precise thing we do. And so yeah, it's a little tense when you're trying to get connected in there, but once you're hooked up, it's not too bad.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a piece of technology that exists nowhere else in the world, and this is only about the second air show season that you guys have been out doing this full demo, and it is phenomenal, and I thank you guys for being here. Tyler Kesterson, Dustin Davis, and all the gang from Marine Corps Air Station New River. What's your squadron?
We're VMM-266, the Fighting Griffins.
The Fighting Griffins. Griffins?
That's correct.
Isn't that the name of a British helicopter?
or a British? Sure.
I don't know. We'll figure that out later. The Fighting Griffins, and thank you guys very, very much. It's going to come into land here in a couple of seconds. Folks, would you join me in a round of applause for the MV-22 Osprey helicopter? Thanks. DC, DJ, thank you guys very, very much. Sure appreciate it. Well, we'll see more from the Marine Corps in a little bit. Sure, nice job, you guys. Coming up in just a couple of minutes, we're going to continue on with the Red Bull Air Force. We saw a little bit earlier one of the jumpers, and his name was Mike Swanson. He brought the flag in for us, and we're going to be continuing with the rest of the members of the Red Bull Air Force, and also Chuck Aaron flying the Red Bull helicopter.